Okay, welcome back, everyone. I got cut off there as I was acting as an advocate for a company that uses a combination of e-commerce and social commerce, sharing, shared consumption, called GoCar. But one of the things that what GoCar has done is really important is it has a really high level of customer service. So a potentially awkward, what could have become a bad experience for the customer was turned around into one that was a really good experience. This is an example of a company that's is looking at new models of consumption, new business models, new ways of interacting with customers in order to create a better experience for customers. So what we talked about, what we're going to talk about now is why people actually shop. So there's two main reasons why people shop. The first one is for pleasure, known as hedonic reasons. Just the idea is that we kind of get some kind of enjoyment or fun out of shopping. For some people it's the thrill of the hunt, finding a bargain. For other people it's just the fact that we're out doing something with other people. And then the much more mundane reason why people shop is the utilitarian reason. So is for functional things. So the idea is that we're more likely to use social commerce or e-commerce for utilitarian stuff because it just makes life an awful lot easier for us. So as I sometimes say in class, I use the Tesco online shopping. I've used it for several years because basically the problem of trying to steer two children around the supermarket while they try and grab every bar of chocolate in sight, it's just giving me too many grey hairs. Whereas, I can walk around the kitchen with the app in my hand, opening the cupboards and seeing what I actually need. The drawback of that approach to shopping is it's actually very unusual for you to buy new things. Sorry, there, my screen is about to turn itself off, so I just need to flick it. So one of the advantages of social commerce is that it gives us access to other people's opinions that mightn't necessarily be in our close circle of friends. We get recommendations and we get referrals from people both within and outside our own social graph. So our social graph is the map of people we're connected to. It's the sum of all our friends. But the advantage of social commerce is we can actually get referrals from people outside our social graph. So the social network can actually identify people who might have similar behavioral patterns to us, and based on their behavior can make recommendations to us. So Amazon is really good at this. So based on the fact that I've ordered such and such a book, they can tell me what people who order similar books will do. And quite a lot of times if people have a shared common interest, they will like the same books or whatever. So you get new things being recommended to you that, well, I mightn't have read that, but, if other people who like what I like it, then maybe it's worth trying. So this is the idea, is that the reason why we shop is important is because the environment that's created will be attractive or annoying depending on what our motivation is to shop. If I want to get in, get out with my groceries as quickly as possible, I don't want to be distracted. I'm not interested in what other what the environment is like. I want easy parking. I want fast checkout. I want a convenient shopping experience. Whereas if I'm looking for a hedonistic experience, if I'm looking for fun to enjoy it, well, maybe I'm not in a rush. Maybe I don't want to be pushed. Maybe I do want to see other things. Maybe I don't want to choose the first thing that comes to me. Maybe I like to look at a few different things and just drag it out and make an experience of the whole thing. So it's this idea is that for hedonistic shopping, it's the opportunity to share common interest with like-minded people. And there you can actually from the slides that are up on Moodle, you can click on some of the links here as well, and you can actually see what examples of social commerce. I'm not going to actually play the video in it because the software I'm using can only take a feed from the microphone and not internally, so it won't actually record the sound if I play the video. So, fundamental thing to remember is that shopping is shopping, regardless of whether we do it in the shop or whether we do it online. And there is a model that explains the 5 steps we move through when we're shopping. So the decision-making process basically is we recognize that we have a problem. Well, I recognize that I have several problems. When it comes to shopping, the problem is generally a need or a want. A need, the difference between a need and a want is quite significant. Things like food and shelter are needs. Clothing, that's most basic is a need. But, things like maybe jewelry, fancy items, luxury goods aren't necessarily a need. They're a want. So once we've acknowledged that we have a problem, then we go out and we look for information. Then we evaluate the alternatives. We make a purchase, and then we evaluate whether our purchase was good or not. The post-evaluation purchase will generally determine whether we purchase again or not. So it's always been important. However, in an era of social shopping, where people share their ratings and reviews, and a bad experience can be magnified across the whole experience. If you take the example of United Break Guitars, where a single bad experience can be observed by hundreds of millions of people, then the post-purchase evaluation becomes critically important. So this is again directly from the book. We actually see means which each stage of the social commerce decision making process can be supported. So it's kind of some useful examples for your project. Okay, so now we're going to think like how social commerce actually supports through the 5 steps. So the first one is problem recognition. So ads often remind us of problems that we didn't necessarily know we had, or sometimes if it's in the case of Google and it's actually running ads based on what you're emailing people about, it's coming up with solutions, identifying potential problems that you've been discussing with other people. So I know certainly if I email my father and I ask him for some information about some gardening and a tip on gardening or whatever, I'm going to see a number of advertisements are going to come up, both in Google and on my social media platforms over the next few days, kind of with potential things. So suddenly it helps in the problem recognition phase. So I see endorsements from friends posted on Activity Stream. So, somebody has a really positive experience with a particular brand or product, and they're delighted to share it. And I see that, I think, well, yeah, maybe I do need that. I didn't realize I needed that, but I want one now. So this idea of lists on sites like Pinterest. So there's a whole range of resources on places like Pinterest, and curated images of particular products like clothes or cars or different things, that really, give you an idea of the sort of things that you might want. And then we can have location-based promotions. So TripAdvisor, Yelp, all these different ones will actually make promotions to you based on your location. Another one is Subway. With the app, sometimes if they think, at a particular time of the day and you're particularly close to a store, they might actually give you a push notification to suggest, hey, why don't you get lunch? Why don't you grab lunch? There's a Subway around the corner. And then this idea of participatory commerce, where people put out ideas out there of things that they're trying to sell, and they kind of sell the idea to you, and you might realize that's something that I want. So then once we realize that we actually have a problem that needs addressing, we will actually then go on to the next stage where we will search for information. So if you look at the black circle up in the right hand corner, there is more information available now than ever before. It is so much easier to find out information. It's almost like any question you can possibly ask, there will be there will be information on it. What the challenge actually is it comes at the next stage where we have to actually evaluate that. So, we have comments and conversations through our social channels. So there's all sorts of information coming from our friends and from other people. Another thing that we're going to talk about in detail is ratings and reviews. So we're really interested in, what do other people think of it? Have people had good experiences? Is the overall rating good? How does it compare to something else? Do the reviews highlight problems? So I know certainly before I got a clothes horse, I got the biggest clothes horse I could actually find, and I got it delivered and it was great, and I was able to hang up and dry all my clothes on it. But it broke under the weight of clothes, and I was quite annoyed, because it wasn't particularly cheap. But when I went back and I went through the ratings and reviews, what I actually saw with the reviews was that a significant number of people had said, yeah, the medium-sized one, this is perfect, it's really durable, but the extra large one just doesn't work. It collapses under its own weight. So I actually realized, hang on a second, there's authenticity in these reviews. They actually reflect my experience. And I went back and I bought two of the medium ones and they were perfect. So the ratings, the ratings were a really useful source of information. I'm only sorry I didn't engage with them before I got to the purchase part. If I had followed this 5-stage model more closely myself, I would have got a better outcome. So the whole idea is that you can have product and pricing information tagged to image posts, so it becomes easier and easier to find out information that you want. And what's really interesting about this, and what's really useful for organizations, again, when we're flipping on ahead and thinking from the perspective of the seller, is that you can have those dynamic ads that we discussed in the social entertainment section, where it's actually possible to make different offers to different people based on their location, their behavior, their demographics, and whatever, which gives a huge amount of power to the seller. However, the danger with that is that if people are actually sharing information, you may be found out. And, we can actually do queries on social network sites. There's vast amounts of information out there. And then the idea is that we can actually share our wish lists and things like gift registries. Gift registries, when I got married, which is 15 years ago, but gift registries were all the rage, where you would actually say what the present here. It just sounds really crass in some ways, but like people going to weddings loved it because you just kind of went in and ticked a box and said, oh, they want that, they can have that, and you get it sent to you. But that's kind of considered a little bit gauche, or a little bit not the done thing anymore, which I think is a bit of a pity because it makes it harder to find presents. But these sort of wish lists that people have, that you can actually set up your own wish list on Amazon or whatever. So somebody wants to get you a present, it's really good. So there's information there to help you with your process. And this idea then of the chatbot service. So you're actually, if you go on to what's the website I'm thinking? Yes, the gourmet food. It's the gourmet food company that's just opened up a restaurant in Galway. When you go onto their website, they actually have a chatbot service that comes up and asks you for information to answer any questions that you have about it. And lots of places do this. Maynooth University has one running on its website, and some of the other universities. So if you express an interest in a course, it gives you a real-time opportunity to get answers. So this whole idea is that people actually make decisions very, very quickly. And when we start talking about the moment of truth, you realize that people actually engage with a brand within the first couple of seconds. So if you have something like a chatbot service that actually can answer their questions and draw them in a little bit and create that moment of truth where somebody says, I like this product, this seems, whatever, I'm going to invest a little bit of time in that, it increases the probability of success, of a successful sale quite dramatically. Okay, I'm going to stop part 2 there, and we're going to continue looking at the value of ratings and reviews in the next section.